Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Chicago Blackhawks franchise mode here in NHL 23. So I kind of am pre-recording this episode almost like it's a couple hours after you guys would have seen the last episode, so there is no comments at this time, but I bet there would be a couple comments a little bit after this. But anyways, I decided I would pre-record this episode because obviously there is a trade that I was proposing at the end of last episode, and I think I am going to try and make that trade work with the Philadelphia Flyers to bring in Skula. Obviously, there is some problems that I don't like about Skula. The fact that he's making $11 million is a bit steep, but we got to think logically that if Connor McDavid retires at the end of the season, which I think he's going to be, he will be relatively he'll be knocking out 11 million off for cap space basically, and that's basically how much Skula is making at the moment. If for some reason McDavid doesn't retire, he should be requiring less money next season, I would assume. So we should be able to still bring him back if he doesn't retire. But I think this is a great trade for us to potentially make because obviously we have most of our core locked up next year. Like if we were to bring in Skula, the only contract we'd have to worry about other than McDavid is basically Spiller. And Spiller would be relatively easy to bring back. Scavella would also be gone probably because he's a backup option, but in general, it'd be really easy to maintain our team going into the next season as well, and for the season probably afterwards. So I don't think this is a bad idea. We are going to be probably moving Package Slotty in this deal just because of the cap hit he has, and he also is a pending UFA, so it gives the Flyers a decent player that they might be able to re-sign and bring back for a couple of years as well. So he's going to be definitely part of this deal, and we'll probably throw in like some prospects. Definitely our first round pick for sure. I would also probably give a couple prospects if they require a lot more value. But when we went to the trade finder at the end of last episode, they wanted Howden, and obviously Howden is untouchable at the moment, so we definitely aren't moving away from Howden. So anyways, let's get into making this trade, and hopefully we are cap compliant once we make this trade. And yeah, hopefully we could get something to go through with the Flyers, because this trade will definitely bolster our top six quite a bit, because thinking of a second line with Recchi, Kabanov, and Skula would be really great, and Skula would also probably be running that second power play unit. So let's head on over to Philadelphia, who's also in a playoff race right now, which is interesting. So I don't know why they want to get rid of Skula, if it's the cap hit or something like that. Like, wait, let's see. Is Michkov on a pending free agent deal? No, he's not. They must want to re-sign somebody in the offseason or something like that. They want to offload this $11 million. Obviously, like I said, it's a lot of money for an 86, but Richard Skula has been a really good player for the Flyers. You can see he's over point per game in his career this year. He's off to a really good start as well. 49 points, 21 goals, and he's been a 50 goal scorer in the past, so I think he's definitely kind of worth his type of money. Also, you can see playoff-wise, he's over point per game. So in general, this guy has been an absolute beast, and we add him to a team that's already stacked enough, then he should do even better than that. And he's also listed as a second-line forward, which is perfect, so he won't complain about ice time if we play him on the second line, which is where he's going to go. So Skula, and obviously, like I said, we are going to be giving them Package Slotty, even though they don't want him. He's basically the cap replacement going back the opposite way. The only thing is we're kind of like just under the cap, like just barely, by like under $1 million, which is crazy. So this trade literally only could just barely work. Unless we wanted to give him more salary cap, which we could always do in another trade at the deadline, but I don't think there is anybody else I want to trade away from this team. So obviously we're going to give our first round pick. That's the big part of this deal. We are giving up our first rounder, I think, for one of the first times in this series. It is a little bit of a tough one to give up for me, but obviously at the same time, we're trying to be a competitive team right now, win some Stanley Cups, and we need to get rid of that first round pick. We have so much prospects that it doesn't really hurt me too much to give away that first rounder. And then obviously they do want some of our prospects. I'm thinking of maybe giving them one of the goalie prospects, because both these guys were drafted a year apart. Obviously Hugh Way is definitely the better of the two because he's a little bit better overall wise and he is younger. And then we also have all these other prospects as well. So I think I'm going to try first giving them Weber, because Weber's a 60 at 19, medium top 4 potential, but was a 4th round pick. So I don't see him making it for us. So I will throw him into this deal and see if this works. If it does not, obviously we could add some more value to this deal going to the Flyers. I don't mind that. But I think this should work considering we're giving up our first rounder. We're giving them a roster player pretty much right back and a prospect for the future. So package Slotty, a first, and Weber. Will it work? Rejected. Admiralty just a bit low. That's actually not bad. That's a good starting point. So maybe if we add in like a 7th rounder, because I don't know if I want to give up one of those goalie prospects. I could. I mean, eventually down the road I might. But I might as well just throw in like a random pick, like a 7th round pick for this year as well, because I mean, we're probably not going to find any huge steal in the 7th round. They do want the 7th rounder as well, so I think this might help. If not, we could always even go all the way up to like a 4th round pick. I don't really mind. So package Lottie, a first, Weber, and a 7th for Skula. And that is accepted, so there is a pretty big trade. Maybe the biggest trade we've made in the series. We do not have to send anybody down, I don't think, right? Yeah, we don't. Okay, good. This is a great trade, I think. I am very excited to see what Skula could do. He also has really good face-off stats, so I could put him back to center where his natural position is, but since he's a sniper, I think I am going to start by throwing him onto the wing. Where is he? Or am I completely blind? I must be blind. I thought he was a center, unless he got sent down to the minors and I actually have to call him up, which would be weird. Am I just completely missing him? Yeah, I think I'm just completely missing him, so let's just throw Coburn in there for the time being. Where did he go? This is weird. If we go roster moves in the system, yeah, he got sent to the minors for no reason. I don't know why. He dropped down to an 85 as well. We are going to have to send somebody down though, right? Yeah. We'll be over salary cap. Ooh, by how much? Hey, it says $157,000. I might have to send down one of those depth options. I guess it would be Coburn since he's making 1.8. So let's send Coburn down. We'd be still over the salary cap. So I guess I'm going to have to send down multiple players. So both depth guys that we signed, I'm going to send both of them down to the minors. And we will have to call up somebody on a two-way deal, I guess, as a depth option. So like 90. That doesn't work. How about just this? How am I over the salary cap? I thought I wasn't. I should just go auto adjust or something like that on this for a second. Let me just go back here. There's got to be a way. How am I over the cap by how much? I think it's by like 2 million bucks. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we are very tight on the cap. See, that's the one reason why I was a little bit skeptical about doing this trade, but I think we need to be competitive right now, so that should work, right? No, it does not. We gotta send down somebody with a bigger cap hit than 1.8, which means Bales? No, that doesn't even work either. I might have to make another trade in order to get School onto the team. Yeah, I think we'll have to trade away one of those depth options that we brought in. So in this case, I'd probably be looking at trading away Coburn just because he's 1.8. So let's trade away Coburn to see if we could get ourselves to being cap compliant. Actually, now it says we're under the cap. I am really confused. Did I just break the game? Let me try and call him up again. Let me try and call him up again and see if it works. Over to salary cap. Let me go to depth options. Let's go to Coburn. Oh yeah, because Coburn still technically counts towards the cap hit. So if I was to send down somebody on a two-way deal like Lane Weeks, I'd still be over. What about Carton and Wood? Oh man. Yeah, we're gonna have to make probably another trade here in order to get something to just to work cap-wise. So if I go propose trade, who is somebody on our cap? I should have probably added another player to our deal and tried to make the trade even bigger with the Philadelphia Flyers to offload some other cap hit. Because now we are trying to scramble to make a bigger trade here. If we were to trade away Carton and Coburn, both depth options, I would get rid of our depth defenseman though. We need to have that depth defenseman. Forward-wise, we got a ton of guys in the system, so I'm not too worried if I get rid of both depth guys that we literally just brought in, because there technically is Martins who's on two-way, Zubris who's on two-way, etc. So let's try and trade away both depth options we literally just signed. to a team in order to get ourselves more cap compliant. So we'll trade them both to a team that's not doing so well, if there is one in the Eastern Conference, preferably. Yeah, Carolina, exactly. 16-23. And we will take back a 6th round pick, because I don't think I could get much higher than that. Maybe I can get higher than that. Will you guys give me a 4th rounder for next year for this? Carolina would be over for 45 skaters in the organization. I don't want to take back a player in this deal at all. We just want to offload these players. Detroit would be over the salary cap, it looks like. Florida would be cap compliant. They're not doing too well either. And they do want to get rid of some picks. So we will try and trade for a 4th rounder. I might be able to get a 3rd. Actually, no, they're over skaters in our organization as well. Minnesota's not doing too well. They might be in our division, but we just got to find a way to offload these guys. Maybe over the player limit. I might have to do 2 separate trades. Yeah, that might be the way of doing this. Yeah, because most teams are like right at the contract limit. So we'll have to do 1 person per trade. So let's trade Coburn to Vegas, because Vegas is doing... Actually, Vegas would be not cap compliant, not a surprise. We'll trade them to Toronto. Coburn to Toronto. We'll just take back a 4th round pick from the New York Rangers. That's over 45 skaters still. God damn. This is a lot more work than I actually initially expected with this trade. We'll trade Coburn to the Islanders. Yeah, they'd be cap compliant. We'll take back a 4th round pick. And once again, you'd be over the contract limit. Why are all these teams that rate at like the cap or the contract limit? Detroit has a lot of contract room. The only thing is they weren't cap compliant. Anybody else have contract room? Calgary's got a lot of contract room. Okay. We'll take a 4th rounder from the Flames. Okay, I might be able to get both these guys into this deal, which is what I wanted to do. So who was the other depth option again? Oh my goodness. But like with the amount of depth we have in the AHL, it's not that bad that we literally just trade away the guys we just signed. So we'll get rid of who was the other one? Oh yeah, it was Wood. Coburn and Wood. They'd be over the salary cap though if we added both players. So we'll get rid of Coburn. We'll just do Wood for a 4th round pick if that works. Rejected. Okay, we will take a 6th rounder probably then. Actually, let's just try the 5th rounder first. Just because why not? Wood for a 5th. Sweeten it just a touch. So I guess we're getting a 6th round pick. I don't mind that. Actually, we should... Yeah, we'll do it at 6th and then we could try and get to 7th in a different deal. But basically, we're still having our late round pick that we normally had from that Skula trade now in a sense. So Wood for a 6th, and this would put Brody Finley in on waivers. They'd have to reject that deal. God damn it. What if I threw in my 6th rounder? So basically you're just getting a free player. Too costly apparently. I will throw in my 5th rounder. I don't care. I just need to offload this guy. They just don't want to get rid of... they don't want to put Finley on waivers. Oh, this is a different team. I feel like everything's trying to work against us in getting School up. But we're going to get him up regardless. Even if this takes half an hour to do, we're going to find a way. We are going to find a way. They'd be cap compliant. They should have the spots are available, right? Nope. Come on, there's got to be a team. Let's trade him to a team that doesn't want him. Ottawa's got a ton of cap room, but they do not have the contract space. The Islanders will try this again. Islanders won't work. There's got to be another team that works. The Devils? Okay, so the Devils would work. They actually have room for both guys, so let's try and get both guys into this deal with the Devils. Oh, this is frustrating, but at least, like I said, we have depth in the AHL, so it's not a big problem. I don't want to get rid of the other guy. So we want to get rid of Wood and Coburn in the same deal. And then we want to take in... we'll try a 3rd rounder, even though that's probably a bit high. They'd be over 45 skiers. Yeah, we got to do 1 to him and 1 to another team. So we'll take a 6th round pick, I guess. Yeah, 6-rounder for Wood. Let's get this done, New Jersey. Thank you. Thank you. And we're still over the cap by a little bit. Now it adjusted the cap situation. I don't know why that was like that. Why it was saying we were under the cap when we weren't. Like that must be a glitch or something. And now we'll try and trade away Coburn to another team that would be able to get him. Montreal should work. And we will take in a 5th rounder because I think he has a little bit more value. They'd be over 45 skaters. Seriously, I don't get why all these teams are right at 50 out of 50 contracts. And then the ones that aren't cap compliant. And I can't retain money. I just can't. Let's trade him to Dallas, 5th round pick. That won't work either. Columbus, will you take him from us, please? I'm just begging anybody. 6-rounders, I don't care. Nope, can't. Who is going to be the team to take Coburn from us? Colorado can't either. Carolina wouldn't be able to. Calgary would, but they're over the cap. I swear, this is kind of frustrating. Buffalo. Yes, okay, Buffalo we can make a trade with. Good. Let's try a 5th round pick. Coburn for a 5th. That's rejected. What about a 6th? I will take a 7th even. Or I'll even give you guys a pick into this deal. Rejected, too far offered. Did it say Sweden just a touch? I don't even know. They have 2 7th rounders. We'll take one of them from themselves. Value is just a bit low. Okay, well, let me add one of our 6th rounders into this deal. We'll add our own 6th rounder. So basically, Coburn in the 6th to just go back in the draft. Hey, there we go. And School would be called up. Perfect. There we go. Now we should be able to call up School with no cap problems. Yes, okay, good. And do I need still my depth forwards? Probably. But I don't want to call them up because they're AHL guys right now. So we got them up finally. Took like 17 minutes, but at least it's only a season sim in this episode. So School into this spot. Substitute in all lines. Oh, baby. That looks great. That looks good. I could put him at center because he's got really good face-offs, but he's a shooter, so I think him on the right side looks really good because he's a left-handed shot. Yeah, I'm liking the looks of this. Let me just make sure he's in the right power play spot as well, which is the 2nd unit. Yep, that's good. But I think I'm going to move from the center on that unit just because he is a good face-off man. Yeah, this is exciting. This is exciting. We'll put Reefers to the face-off man on the 4-man unit. And then Skula will play with Kabanov on this unit, I think. Or actually, we could put him on the point instead of Nitamaki. I might have to trade away Nitamaki in the offseason just because of his cap hit. But I don't really mind. Say Skula there. Perfect. It looks good. Yeah, I'm really excited. I think this is definitely going to be helping our team out quite a bit. Like, that top 6 looks really good. All X factors in the lineup almost, except for a few players as well. Defense looking good. Goaltending looking good as usual. And then we only have Kartinen up here as depth. I could call up Adamski and Martins as depth options, but I'm not going to do that yet. I'm going to probably wait till next season to have those guys in. But once we get to the playoffs, these guys will get called up if the AHL team gets knocked out. So hopefully we don't run into any injury troubles. But those 2 guys are going to be the depth options. Zubris is also on the cusp of being a depth option. Same with Lorakainen. Do we have any guys scratched? Just Tukio. Okay, there we go. Our team is set, and I think that's all the trades we're going to make this season because obviously, yeah, we're literally the closest I've ever been to the cap max, which is like, we're literally 105K in cap space. So we can't really make much more moves unless we move somebody with a big cap hit. Like, I don't think I've ever been this close to the cap minimum. It says we still have $2 million in cap space, but realistically we don't. So there is that. So let's simulate the season and see what this team does the rest of the way. Hopefully Skula goes on a torrential pace with this team. He gets to play his former team here right at the end of the month, which is pretty funny. But yeah, let's go to the end of January and see how this team does down the stretch. Because usually Asher Vance has a really good second half. McDavid does as well. And we'll see what School is all about. And damn, maybe I should have traded Gustavo Blackburn. He gets an MCL sprain, but at least we have Tukio down there in the minors as well as a depth goalie option. But that's a pretty big blow for the AHL team as we win 5 in a row since acquiring School. That's great. I feel like we're going to win a President's Trophy, though, and be knocked out in the first round. But the good thing is with School is he signed for 2 more years. That is also a little bit of a problem with his cap hit, but he should be still relatively good at simulating for those few years. So I'm not too worried. Like, he's definitely a good step up from what we had with Nazar, I'd say. And hopefully he doesn't drop off too fast because he's already like 31 years old. So let's continue simulating, but our team should be pretty much set in stone the rest of the way. Weeks was already in the lineup. There's another win. There's our first loss with Skula in the lineup. Yeah, everything's looking good for this team right now. We're scoring a lot of goals, and yeah, there's just no point to making any trades at the moment because we should be pretty much automatic in terms of making the playoffs. Like, we should easily hit 60 wins this year. We're at 37 wins. New Jersey's doing really good as well. So no wonder that they wanted to trade for one of those guys that we were trading them. They are currently at 78 points. We are currently also at 78 points. San Jose is still number 1 by quite a large margin by 7 points. They have 85 points. Yeah, surprisingly, we're still not the best team in the league. I think in any other season, we would probably be one of the best teams in the league, but right now we're not. Brigley has been injured with a broken foot. Okay, that's a pretty big injury. Well, we are going to have to call up somebody from the minors. I am going to just throw Carton in there as a substitute for now. But that means we are going to have to call up probably Topi Martins. Maybe. Is Adamski more defensive? No, they're both snipers. Maybe I should go with Adamski, but does he go through waivers? He does. I think though we would not have to send him back down, no. I'd probably just keep him up here if I sent him down, or if I did that. Martins doesn't go through waivers yet. Who's been the better of the two? 16, 17, that's 30 points. Let's call up Adamski. He's 23. He deserves a shot. We have the cap space. Might as well call him up. Actually, no, we'd be over the salary cap if we tried to call him up. What about Martins? Over the cap. Oh, man. Maybe we should try and maybe make... How about 90? Nope. I would be over the cap regardless of who I call up. Maybe I should offload some sort of salary cap hit. Yeah, I think so. I think what we got to do here is... Let me go with salary. Yeah, I can't even call up anybody in the AHL. So, I guess we got to have Cartonen as that fourth line center for a second. But I think what we're going to do is we're also going to be trading Niittymaki away in this episode. That $6 million cap hit, I can't use it. That means Ovechkin would move up. We find a cheaper top 6 option. And yeah, we also trade away Niittymaki. He's with Brigley's injury. I don't think I could afford to have a fourth line center that's a defenseman. I mean, I could move Bales to the center spot and use Cartonen as a winger. But is that a bad thing to do? Or I could actually put Patterson as center. Huh. I honestly might be willing to try that for a few games up to the deadline, but the thing is, running like this all the way till April is a bit risky. Yeah, I think I might trade away Niittymaki. I might. Let me go to a day before the deadline here. This might be a little bit of a long episode just because of this, but let me see. How has Cartonen been doing as a depth, or like a fourth line forward? Because I haven't played him as a depth defenseman yet, I don't think. Maybe I have, actually. 4 points, 5 penalty minutes. Like, he's not really an offensive guy, but he might help out the defensive play down there on that fourth line. Because I think moving Niittymaki makes sense for this team. He hasn't been terrible, but he's not really as offensive as I was hoping. But if we trade him away, we'll be able to call up anybody from the AHL, and we need to have depth options if there's injuries in the playoffs. We can't be playing a defenseman as a forward, so I think we are going to trade away Niittymaki in this episode as well. So, as much as I wanted to keep Niittymaki long term, we got to make room because of the fact that we just brought in Skula. We need to free up some cap space and get a cheaper top 6 defenseman. Is it a little bit weird doing this when we're competitive? Kind of, but we could also have Nichols in the system. We could call up actually as a defenseman. So maybe we don't actually need to even trade for a defenseman. Maybe we just trade Niittymaki straight up for a pick. Who do we want to trade him to? A team that's probably not doing too well, right? that'd actually be able to afford him and has the contract room, which there's not really a lot of teams that have contract room. Let's see. There's got to be a team with contract room. Yeah, most of these teams don't have a lot of contract room, so we actually might have to take back a player in this deal. But we'll have to take back one on a two-way deal. So let's trade Niittymaki to Boston, I guess. Are they doing really good, though, right now? They are. I don't want a team that's doing super well. Let's go Buffalo instead. Let's go Skaters matching block. Let's see what they got. Just find somebody on a two-way deal for the AHL. Might as well. Like this Shea guy. We'll take Shea in as the roster player to bring back. And then we will take in... Is the second round or two valuable? It might be, but they might be willing to do this anyways. Let's try this because I need to offload this money. And, yeah, we just need to offload money. Okay, so apparently that second rounder is a bit too valuable. What about a third and a fourth round pick? Let's try this. I know it seems weird to be doing this when we're in a great state, but we need to change up this cap situation a little bit. Obviously, I've been really good with my contracts right now, but obviously Spiller being a free agent or an RFA at the end of the season as well, we'll need to get rid of Niittymaki regardless, so I think doing it now makes more sense because of the cap situation. Like, I need to call up guys from the minors as depth options. So, let's do this. Rejected. Huh, that's interesting. I don't know why they do not want to accept that. What if I was to take your third rounder again and give you our fifth rounder? Yeah, maybe just add a pick of our own. It seems like a weird trade to make, but we got to get rid of it. There you go. Niittymaki's gone to Buffalo. It's only because of cap reasons. Because you got to make those rooms. So Adamski's going to come up, and we already have a depth defenseman. For now, we'll call up Knighty as another depth forward. But eventually Martins will probably come up for the playoffs. It's just because of that injury that was a little bit risky here. So let's go Kartinen out of the lineup. And Adamski's going to get thrown right onto the fourth line. Oh my goodness. Why does it say there's a lot of errors? Oh, defense, right. And then we'll have Ovechkin move up. We'll have Kartinen play top 6 minutes right now. Oh, I don't think that's actually that bad, is it? We'll double check just to make sure. But, yeah, we had to make that deal. We had to make that deal. There was no way that we could not make that deal. So we got to get Valentenko in. Wait, is that the only ones that are scratched? Yeah, Valentenko and Butsayev. And actually, I need to send down that Shea guy that we just acquired, I think, as well. I'll just throw in randos here for a second. Boom. Power play. Let's get that Valentenko guy in. Sure, why not? I mean, I just go best lines down there in the minors for that. Why not? I think it called up that Shea guy we just acquired, right? Yeah, it did. I don't need Cade Shea in the lineup. He will send Shea down. And in the system wise, is there anybody else I want to call up right now? Probably not. Let's send just Shea down. And there we go. There we go. So now we have at least a little bit more cap flexibility. I don't really like that. There we go. That's a little bit better. Yeah, that's a little bit better. So, yeah, that's going to be our lineup. Obviously, it sucks to get rid of Niittymaki, but cap is important right now for this team. So, and then once Brigley's back in the lineup, Adamski would be a depth option. Same with Knighty. And then we'll probably end up calling up a depth defenseman from the minors in that Nichols guy. Or I could try and trade for a defenseman right now. But with our cap situation being as tight as it is, I don't think I'm going to make any more trades. Just because I don't want to risk it. Because we got Burnstrom, we got Nichols. And that's pretty much all we have right now. So, yeah, let's leave it like that. Let's leave it like that. That's going to be our team for the rest of the season and the playoffs. Asher Vance is definitely going ham in the second half. He's only on 35 goals, which is a bit concerning, but 72 points. Let's continue assimilating. Continue and see where we finish off. Seems weird trading away Niittymaki already, but yeah, I kind of signed him to a bad contract in the offseason. $6 million was a really steep price. I should have probably qualified him and just got him for less for 1 year and then let him walk, but I did not do that. I don't think I'm going to enter the trade deadline. Should I? Let's enter the trade deadline. This is a 30-minute episode already at this point, but let me just see if there's a defenseman that would work better as a top 6 guy for us that's cheap. Like, we need somebody that's really, really cheap and cap compliant. There's not anybody really. Callie Christensen, is that the defenseman I was looking at? Yeah, I think that's the guy that went before Vance. He's back on the block. It's funny. Yeah, I don't think there's really any way we're going to be able to make a trade for another defenseman. Let's see. I don't think so, just because of this cap situation. Let me just take a look at some of these teams and what they got. Oh, yeah, former defenseman versus Israel Nugent Hopkins would be a good option, but he's not really much of an upgrade. Looking for somebody on like a 1-year deal that's under $1 million or around $1 million. Betts is injured currently, though. Dean Betts would have been a perfect option, probably, but he doesn't fit anything of ours. What about Erat? Erat doesn't fit anything either. Come on, there's got to be somebody, at least maybe, that we could get in for that. Connon's already young, so I don't want to bring him in. Mellenby's way too bad. Wow, a lot of teams don't really have that good of defensive cores when I'm looking at this on paper. Page might be okay. Braden Page. This guy's doing actually really good in the AHL. He's an offensive defenseman, so pretty much just like Niittymaki was. Huh. That might be okay. And we'd probably be cap compliant to make a deal like this. So, you know what? We're going to just do this. And this guy's going to be in instead of Cartonen. What do they want? If I gave you a 7th round pick for him, would that work? Okay. Wow. Okay. And they thought they were making out like gangbusters, but all they got is a 7th round pick. So there you go. We got ourselves a defenseman for our top 6, and we'll put him on the power play too. Since he's doing really good in the AHL, maybe I'll have it transpire over to the NHL. And geez, I thought the game was a glitch for a second there. Christensen, the guy that did go before Vance got traded to Vegas, or from Vegas to Boston for a 1st rounder and a goalie prospect. Okay, so there is that. Barrett Hayton on waivers. I can technically afford him, but why would we claim him? He's not really that good anymore. He's dropped off quite a bit. I wanted to stop the sim, goddamn. Okay, so let me go to our lineup here again. And we're going to call up that defenseman from the AHL. And he will be playing instead of Cartonen. So if we go to in the system, he might have already been actually called up. Let's see. Yeah, he was called up. Perfect. Okay, so let's go to edit lines here. Throw that guy instead of Cartonen into the lineup. And we'll throw him in there. Perfect. And yeah, we'll keep him on the top 6. And we will go also to the power play number 2. And yeah, he's already in that spot. Perfect. Just where Niittymaki used to be. So there you go. Our team is now set up right. And we are cap compliant as well, which is good. And we also have multiple depth options now. Once Brigley comes back, then Adamski will be the depth option since he's 23. But there is Martins as well, like I said, that we could always call up for the playoffs. But he will be with the team for sure next season. Okay, so 40, 18, and 4. Let's continue simulating and see how we finish off the season, because this has been a pretty long episode. And I didn't mean for it to be this long, but all these trades definitely added a lot of time to this episode. But there's a 3-game losing streak since we've got rid of Niittymaki, which is kind of concerning, but we shouldn't be worried too much because obviously we don't want to finish too good this season or else that's not going to be that good. And now we had another defensive injury. Reginald Spiller has been injured with his separated shoulder, which makes our defensive core even worse. And he is going to probably miss time into the 1st round likely, but geez. Not a good time for a defensive injury. But I'm kind of glad we just brought in another defenseman just as a fail-safe. Because obviously if we would not have, then we'd have to reach into the AHL team more. So I think it made sense for us to get rid of Niittymaki, as weird as it was. We're not going to hit 60 wins this season because we are struggling quite a bit near the end of the season, but that might be a good sign. Maybe we'll just turn it on in the playoffs. Yeah, we're having some really bad games here. Multiple players are back. Who is that going to be? Carton is out. In is Reginald Spiller. And Brigley is almost full health. We will wait till he's actually full health, though. I want to make sure he's healthy. And we finished with 49 wins because we lost in the shootout. But 49-24-9, that's a pretty good season. Obviously, we didn't have the best second half after we made those trades, but we still finished third best in our division. Maybe in a great spot to win a Stanley Cup because, like I said, you don't want to finish number one or else you usually don't win a Stanley Cup. So let's go to Edelines here and see if Brigley's back to full health first before the playoffs at least. And no, he's not, but he probably will be soon. So I will take Adamski out, at least for the playoff wise. And then, yeah, these will be our depth options for now. Yeah, it looks good. So there we go. Let's take a look at our player stats for the season, team stats. McDavid hit 100 points again. But that means Vance had definitely a downfall of a year from last year. But could be because McDavid's getting worse. Who knows? Let's take a look at these stats and team stats and all that. San Jose still won the President's Trophy, but only by 3 points. So even though they were off to an incredible start, they must have slid quite a bit. We did finish fourth best in the league. So that's not a bad spot to finish in. Because we kind of want to finish in that type of territory because it gives us a better shot playoff-wise. Goals for per game, we were 8th in the NHL, 3.49. That's pretty good. Goals against per game wise, we were the second best defensive team in the league. That's pretty awesome. 1 goal behind the Colorado Avalanche, who are going to end up winning the Jennings and stuff like that. Power play percentage, our power play was not good. Yeah, our power play, even though it had a lot of skill on it, it really struggled this year, which is weird. You think with all that skill level it would do much better, but it did not. Penalty kill, on the other hand, was number 1 in the league, 88.8%, so triple eights. That's pretty awesome. We also had 8 shorthanded goals. What's with all these 8s? What the heck? 25-13-3 on home ice and 24-11-6 on the road. 3-3-4 in our last 10 games. I'm feeling really positive about what this team might be able to do in the playoffs because of that. Let's take a look at these player stats now. So, McDavid and Vance both 100 points. McDavid finished with more goals than Vance. That's surprising. Vance became more of an assist guy this year. 43 goals, so that's his lowest goal total in quite some time, but both of them hit 100 points. You cannot complain too much about that. McDavid's had 300-point seasons with us. This was his second best goal season with us. And then, yeah, Vance, this was his lowest goal total since his second season in the NHL? Yeah, since his second season in the NHL. He at least hit 40 goals this year, but he almost missed out on that. So that's kind of surprising, but 605 goals. He's very close to 1,000 career games already, too. He's over 1,000 career points now because of that season, too. So shout out to Asher Vance. And I think he's very close also to being the best goal scorer in Chicago Blackhawks history. Didn't have as much game-winning goals as well this year or power play goals, so maybe the loss of Nazar kind of hurt him a little bit more than I thought it would. I don't know. But still good stats from Vance. Reefers, 93 points this year. Pretty good. In general, this top line normally produces, and Reefers had another good season. Last year, all 3 guys had 100 points. This time around, 2 of the 3 had 100 points, and Reefers came close. Maybe it's a lower scoring season. Who knows? And then Skula had 75 points in 83 games. How much points with us? 26 in the last 41 games. So he didn't do as well with us, but he brought in 15 goals to the team, so that definitely helped the scoring a little bit. No power play goals or power play points. Didn't I put him on the power play, or did the second line power play just not do anything down the stretch? Because if that is the case, that's insane. I thought I put him on the power play, right? I definitely got to maybe move him to the top unit because that's kind of concerning. Only 2 penalty minutes from this guy, too. I didn't even realize that. I didn't realize this guy was that type of player where he's just very disciplined. He didn't take a single penalty with us. And yeah, in his career, he's only got 117 PIMs through 801 games. So that's good. We don't have a guy that's a little bit more disciplined. Kabanov, 57 points. Pretty good season from him. Brickley hit 33 points in 57 games. Obviously, he got injured, but still. Ziska at 33 points, 82 games. And then Adamski had 7 goals in 23 games for 8 points. Not bad. He is a sniper, and he has good shooting, so maybe he gets into the top 6 eventually once other guys like School and Kabanov leave. Because it seems like Adamski's definitely a proven goal scorer. Left wing wise, Bale's 38 points. How much years does he have left? 2 more. Bales is kind of questionable. I don't know if I should have gave him that long-term deal. He's still a solid player, don't get me wrong, but he's not exactly what we expected. He is doing that without power play time, I think, though, so that's actually maybe a bit more impressive than I thought. Patterson, 29 points, not bad. 1 more year left on his contract. I don't know if he's going to come back when that ends, but yeah, he's not been as much of a player as I thought. Probably because he's not getting top 6 time, but he does have really good shooting, so... Or it could be that offensive awareness that's hindering him a little bit. Right wing wise, Recchi, 49 points. Not as good as I thought, but still, he's a solid player. He's just not the crazy player I thought. I don't know. Don't know if he got power play time. I feel like he did, but it says he has no power play points. Huh. If he has no power play time, I got to get him into the power play as well. I don't think he did have power play time, actually, now that I think of it. Yeah, I don't think he did, so I got to get him back onto the power play. Maybe that's why our power play struggled. Weeks had 37 points, 24 goals. That's a solid rookie season for Lane Weeks. Yeah, not too bad. And Corrado hit 36 points. Defensively, Brunstrom, 47 points in 72 games. He missed 10 games due to injury, but still not too bad. He's a bit expensive for what he does for this team, but I needed to have this number 1 guy kind of locked up. Reginald Spiller, 23 points plus 23. He is a pending RFA. Morris, 16 points. Ovechkin, 14 points but plus 33. Lowry, 11 points plus 31. Kartinen, 8 points in 27 games minus 3. And then Page, we brought him in, and he had 3 points in 20 games. So not the type of offensive impact that he was doing at the AHL level with Colorado, but not bad. Not bad, I guess. Howden was pretty damn good this year, 37, 19, and 5 with a 9.14 and a 2.58. And then Scavello was better. He improved in the second half for sure. Not as good as last year, but still. I don't know if he's going to come back this offseason, but 2 back-to-back really good years, or 3 really good years actually from Howden, save percentage-wise and all that. Hopefully he has a good playoffs ahead of him. Let's take a look at stats around the entire league. Yeah, I apologize. This episode's going to be so long. Okay, so the best player in the offense was Sylvain Parks with 116 points. He kind of came out of nowhere. And then McKenna was up there with 114. Jacina had 110, but 72 goals. Yeah, that guy was an insane player in this first half of the season. And 23 power play goals. Yeah, that's kind of insane. Hopefully we don't have to play San Jose in the playoffs. Caulfield also up there. McDavid and Vance did finish top 10 in points. So yeah, not a whole lot of 100-point players, but yeah, Jacina definitely wins the Richard over Vance by quite a large margin. Also, Parks was up there with 58, Nikolitin with 56, Moses with 53. But in general, there was not a lot of 50-goal scorers this year as compared to some other years. What about Selke candidates? Anyone from us, like his Reefers up there? McKenna up there in takeaways, but he's not a face-off guy. Lundell, maybe. Connor Bedard probably is going to win it because the face-off percentage is really good. Yeah, it's probably going to go to Connor Bedard, or it could go to Robichaud because he's 57%. Devin Doyle. So there is a couple options up there for the Selke. Most fights for fun as well. Bliznak in Edmonton with 30. And then there's Fawcett as usual in Arizona. So there's that. How about defensive points? Adam Fox again, 73 points. Bowen Byram, 69. That's not the Kirstensen that I was thinking of, but that Kirstensen's up there. Huh. Cale Makar and Korchinski up there. Cale Makar is close to retirement. He might retire at the end of the season. Best goalie for wins, Nedek Pozo, our arch nemesis. And then Tomarins and Agon, all with 41. Most shutouts, Fragapane with 8. Best save percentage by a starter. And look, Comesso and Ratzlaff, 2 former players of us. That's actually kind of funny. But best by a starting goalie is Fragapane with a 915 in 71 games. However, Howden had a 914 in 65. Goals against per game wise, Aiden Howden and Safronov, both probably up there for the Vezina. So Howden might be able to win another one, but they might give it to Safronov based on the goals against. But save percentage wise, Howden has him beat by a little bit in only 2 more games. But there's also Fragapane, who played a lot more games, had a better save percentage, but worse goals against. So I think these 3 are definitely the ones up there. Aegon also probably has a shot. Any goalie goals this season? No goalie goals. Most goalie assists, Golias in New York. Best rookie this season was Lubomir Kolnick in New York. He was the first overall pick. Not a surprise. 41 goals in his rookie season. Gregor also tied him in points, but that plus 48 for Kolnick's really good, so he's definitely going to win the Rookie of the Year. Unless there's an insane rookie goaltender, which I really doubt, but let's see. Oh, Golias was a rookie this year. That's interesting. But he was not that great. There's no good rookie goalie, really. Jeffrey was okay, but still. So there is that. Let's take a look at who we are facing in round 1, and then that'll be it for this episode. There is a chance I will pre-record the next episodes as well, just because it's playoffs. But who are we facing as Brigley's back to full health, which is great. Right on time for the playoffs. Who are we facing? It's the Nashville Predators, and we do not have home ice advantage, even though we had a good season. We do not have home ice advantage in the series. That's interesting. They finished 53-25-4. We finished 49-24-9. So this is a big time battle, probably. They probably have a good team. Yeah, they finished above us by 3 points. They scored more goals than us. We are better defensively. We were better on the power play, surprisingly. And we were much better penalty kill-wise by like 10%. Interesting. So let's take a look at what the roster looks like, and then that'll be it for this episode. More than likely, I will make some line changes after I finish recording this episode, like getting Reki on the power play and all that. We will see. So, Nashville, what do we got? Wayne Sakic. So this, the grandson of Joe Sakic, I guess. Dylan Holloway and Pavel Sherov. Second line, Corey Ebbett, Colin O'Brien, and Malachi Arneson. Third line, Eli Tolvanen still there. Callum Lind and Alexander Malkin. And a fourth line of Mark Theroux, Thomas Bordeleau, and Pierre Brodeur. So that forward core for what they finished like this season does not look that great. It's good. Like, don't get me wrong, they don't have really any weakness, but they don't really have any superstar offensive guy except for Holloway. Defensively, okay, this is where they get a little bit better. They have 2 90s. They have Yuka Virtanen and Marcus Denisov. So a DFD and an OFD. Yeah, that's a good combo. That's a good combo. As their top 2. That's probably one of the best top 2s I've seen. Then they also have Laurent Rivet, Colin Tapper, Leon Bichelle, and Toby Bathgate. But the rest of the defense, not so good. And then goalie-wise, their goaltending is not even that great either. Andrew Perry and Spencer Knight still there. I also have Rene Fortier, Matthew Ward, and Kent Johnson. Yeah, I don't really know what to make of this team. I don't know how they finished as good as they did. I guess maybe the top 6 is better than it looks. And then defensively, obviously, these 2 are really good. But they don't have a lot of X factors in their lineup either. I feel like we should be able to beat them. But then again, I have lost to way worse teams too. So, or way better teams as well. So, I don't really know. I feel like we definitely should be able to do this, but then again, they were good during the regular season, which kind of is a surprise. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see who wins in the Western Conference, because I feel like a lot of the teams in this Western Conference are pretty stacked. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Chicago Blackhawks franchise mode. So in next episode, we'll take it to round 1 against the Nashville Predators as we look to get back to that second round and hopefully beyond that too. So anything down below, and I'll see you guys next time.